Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give praise to Yahweh. I want to give praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harkadash. And I want to give honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that was teaching the truth, and that Taj, that was teaching the truth, and are on the highways and byways. And shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. I am the brother of the Rosh, and I just came here to make a correction to my own video from my previous video, and on Luke 17, and how on Luke 17 verse 34 I didn't get the context, so I got a little confused of what I was reading, and I didn't understand it. So I'm just gonna correct myself with this video and also break down what's happening from verse 22 and what is being said when it's versus taken and being left. And I will go into those words and explain what's going on those words. And then I'm going to bring out a few other scriptures to also explain what's going on. But so let's get into it. So, verse 22, I'm going to read, so I'm going to start from verse 22 and then probably stop around 23. But, and he said unto the disciples, the days will come when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it. And they shall say to you, see here, or see there, go not after them, nor follow them. And verse 22 just going over how we want that that the coming days of Yahushua is gonna be speculated and be asked multiple times that if it's gonna when he's coming back, and there's multiple times where the man of the priest and the priest of later times after Yahushua has been nailed to the cross and forgave the sins of Israel so they could be forgiven by faith. There's been multiple times they ask, is this the time you're coming back? I think and verse 23 is going over how basically when people say will make assumptions that they'll think that Yahushua is coming back now, or that he's close by, but they don't know, because even he said himself in Matthew chapter 24 verse 32. Yeah. So Matthew 36. How they try to assume when he's coming, or they say they got a vision of his coming. Because I watched a video where this Eve was talking about how she got a vision, or how Jesus told her when he was coming back, and she said that the Feast of Tabernacle, or it was either the Feast of Tabernacle or the trumpets. I forgot. I have to watch it again. But basically, it's really incorrect, because in Matthew 24 verse 36 it says, but of the day and the hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. And it goes on, but as the days of Noah were weird, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. And if you go into LT, it says, however, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen, not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself, only the Father knows. See? So how could someone claim that they know when Yahweh Shah is coming back, and by saying that he said to them that that he's coming back? That's impossible, because it literally just said right now in this verse that not even himself knows when he's coming back. So that's why we can't just follow people on what they say, because a lot of people say a lot of stuff and claim.
Guys, we know the rapture is on September 23rd and 24th this year on the Feast of Trumpets, and that's 43 days from today on August 12th. And look at this word and confirmation.
It's the Feast of Trumpets, my Shalakia. They said it was going to be on the Feast of Trumpets. But we know that's not going to be happening because of this verse, Matthew 24, verse 36. But let's get back to Luke chapter 17. We're going down. For as the lightning that lighteneth out the one part under heaven, shineth unto the other part under heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. Verse 25. But first must he suffer many things, and to be rejected of this generation. So 24 is going over how it's going over. Actually, I'll go over verse 25. So how verse 25 saying how Yahweh Shai must suffer the many things and the rejection and be rejected of this generation is just going over how like this generation, like right now, the men of the Lord on the highways and byways preaching the word, trying to get our people to come back to the truth, and they reject the truth, reject his word. They don't believe his name is Yahweh. The name of the Father and the Son is Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and they are stuck in their ways of believing in what they want to believe and not what the Bible says, and they just full on reject Yahweh by Hashem Yahshua to the point where no one can tell them. In verse 26, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. Verse 27, they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. And these two are the context I needed. Hold on. Let me go down and I'll explain. Likewise, also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drank, they built, they sowed, they planted, they built. So, just remember, let's just keep this in mind. I was missing these two verses in the last video to understand the context of Luke chapter 17, verse 34. I was missing the context of what it was taught, what this scripture was talking about, to understand of what was going on. So these two events are very important, because what they did is what they did during those times. So let's go down to verse 29. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. See, but besides it being fire and brimstone, it's gonna be nuclear missiles. So let's keep going down. I'm gonna read to the point. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Verse 22. Remember Lot's wife. So what 31 is talking about is basically how when it says let him not come down to take it away, and he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Meaning, when it says return back, it's saying, it's really going over how when you're in this truth, and well, the field is basically beyond the highway byways, but when you're in this truth, what it's talking about is like not returning back, like how Lot's wife did. She looked back and disobeyed what Yahweh told them not to do. And when he told them, when you're leaving Sodom and Gomorrah, do not look back, just keep going. And she looked back. And what happened to her? She got turned into a pillar of salt. And in the context of her turning back, in the context of her turning back, can also be applied to us to this day, because we shouldn't want to turn back at our old lives and be feeling and being sad about it, because we ain't gonna have that life that we used to. We should rejoice that we have this truth, and we want to push forward and try to be a part of that number. Because myself, I look back, not as in like as remorse, but I was thinking about how my life used to be as a kid, and then when around when I turned 10, so around like 2013. Around 2013, I believe. That's where everything just went to hell in my life. I mean, I had good moments in my past life, and I had good moments back then, but it's nothing to turn back to. It's nothing for me to be like, yeah, I miss how it used to be. I don't miss how it used to be. Really, that entire whole situation I went through as a kid was only a test from Yahweh Bashem Ashai to see what I was going through. I won't turn back the clock to make sure nothing goes wrong. But anyway, that's just going over how she turned back, and we don't want to turn back like right now, as in like right now. We don't want to turn back as in our old life, to look back as our old lives and start thinking about how good it used to be. We don't want to do that. But let's continue on to verse 33. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. And this is basically what I'm talking about. About looking back to your old life, is because saving his life is not really, of course, when it's saying save his life, of course, you may be thinking it may go into like him thinking about saving his life, but but if you really think about the context when it's saying save his life, it's really going into how you're looking to find ways to like to still be in your old life, and trying not to like fully break away from it. While the person who loses his life can preserve it, because he would rather die for this truth besides trying to save his life, because this, let's say he needs to eat, but the only way to eat, he has to take the MOTB. But so he's trying to save his life because he needs some food, so he's trying to save his life, and he didn't fully give his life to Yahweh by Yahweh Shah. Right? Let's go down. Verse 34, I tell you, in the night there shall be 2 men in one bed. The one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. And we'll continue down. 2 women shall be grinding together. The one shall be taken, and the other one left. 2 men shall be in the field. One shall be taken, and the other left. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Whatsoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathering together. And also in the NLT it says, Where will this happen? Lord, the disciples asked Yahweh Shai and replied, Just as the gathering of vultures shows there is a carcass nearby, so this signs indicates the end is near. So now that I read that, let me get to the point I was trying to get across from the last video of what I was trying to talk about. So in verse 34, I was trying to say break down of what was happening in 34 to 36, but I didn't have the context. And I was talking about, I went into take and left, but I was still a little confused on it. But now I understand it through what I prayed about after getting that wrong. But when it says, I tell you, in the night there shall be 2 men in one bed. The one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. Left and left are like corresponding of what's gonna be happening for during those times. So let's get into left. I mean, not left. Let's get into taken.
Strong's G 3880. Paralambano.
This is Palamambano. And it says to take with other self, to join oneself, an associate, a companion, or an metaph, to accept or acknowledge one to be such as he professes to be, not to reject, not to withhold obedience. Really, I just want to get the I and A, because that's really what says more important when it says companion, and I'll get into that later on. But as you can see, and often to be disordered, but as you can see, being take, it has more of a good outline than it seems. As most people, when it says, most people, especially when I was outside the truth, before I got into it, I was thinking take was meaning like your life was getting taken, but it's not. Taken is the con is what we want us to happen to us. But before I get into it, let's go into left, and so I can show you why taken is better. Why being taken is better than being left. Look, okay.
Strong's G 863. Aphiemi. Aphiemi.
And the outline it says to send away, to abide, going away, or depart. A husband divorcing his wife, which is a good one. Setting forth, yield up, to aspire, to let go, let alone, to be, to disregard, to leave not, to discuss now, to teachers, writers, and speakers, to omit, neglect, to let go, give up, a debit, forgive, to remit, to give up, keep no longer, to permit, allow not, to hinder, to give up a thing to a person, to leave, go away from one. And then there's more, but and also to abandon, to leave, to abandon, leave, deteriorate, to leave, so that what is left remain, leave remaining. Oh, and F, right here. This is to leave one by not taking him as a companion. And what was what was taken we're going into? I get it. See, it says to not taking as a companion, but what was taken saying associate a companion. See, you see how there's a clear opposite between take and left. Take says associate as a companion, and left says down at F to leave to leave one by not taking him as a companion. And when you go over companion, that means friend, right? Which is also what John 15 verse 15 goes over when Yahushua mainly verse 12. Verse 12, but this is what John 15 goes over when Yahushua calls you his friend. So this is John 15. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lie down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. And I'll read verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, that he may give it you. See? And what is a friend? A friend is companion, and what's a companion is also a friend. Hold on, let me look up the word companion real quick. Hmm. Hold on. But yeah, let's go back to Luke. Luke 17, verse 34. Yeah. So, let me get. It's better. That's right. Give me a moment. Okay, here we go. So this is the definition of companion: a person or animal with whom one spends a lot of time, or with whom one travels. One pair of things intend to complement or match each other. See? Okay. I'm gonna ignore the last part of the definition. But so now we can break down into what I was trying to go into for verse 34 down to 36. So just like how just like how Noah and Lot, uh just like how taking Noah to build the ark and then go into ark before he flooded the earth, and taking him to safety on the ark with his family and all, with all the second pair of the animals, one male, one female, to go on the ark, so he can flood the earth. That's Yahweh taking um that's Yahweh taking Noah to safety, which is a companion. But in this sense, taking is just meaning you are being taken by Yahweh by Shem Yahshua to safety. Same thing with Lot. How Sodom and Gomorrah was about to be destroyed. Yahweh taking Sodom and his family to leave out Sodom and Gomorrah and told him not to turn back because he was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah with fire and brimstone. And what he do? He taking Lot out of the city. This Those two things are the same principle of what is going to happen when for these last days and when those nukes go off before it hits Babylon. But for those who are going to be taken out of the land, out of Babylon the Great, he's going to take us out of Babylon the Great, and he's going to lift us up into those chariots. That's what taking is going over into, and that's why it's important to understand the difference between taken and left in this chapter, because if a Christian comes up to you and saying, or really, if a person who doesn't understand the difference in this scripture or tries to makes it seem like being taken is like wrong, or being left, or being taken is wrong and being left is right because you're being left alive, in a sense, if they look at it at the wrong way. But my whole point is basically taken is the good thing in this entire Bible, because each time there is some for Noah, for Lot, and even the coming times of Yahweh Shah coming back. What we want to be taken out of the city, and we don't want to be left behind, because those who are left behind are going to be ultimately just killed off. And that's what it talks about between taking and left. And that's what I was trying to go over and break down in the video that I recorded Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So hopefully but I'm gonna close it off, and hopefully with that, y'all, the people who are watching were hopefully edified, uh, edified, and for the foremost, I'm gonna give double honors and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Harkadash, and just want to say peace, salutation to hopefully elect. With that, I want to say shalom.